Hello, everybody. Welcome to the next game in 1987 American League replay. A little brunch, Strat-O-Matic for brunch today on this Wednesday. I know Uncle Ron is doing his game at noon Eastern, so we're right around 10:40 Eastern. So this will lead you right up into that if you are so inclined to check out his game on Action PC Baseball, and you should. He's very good at it, so very entertaining. And lots of good chat when the game is going on. So highly suggest you check out Retro Sports Network at noon Eastern, right after this game is over, and spend your lunchtime with Uncle Ron on a Wednesday. But right now, we're at brunch time, and we're in Toronto. We're north of the border. Another game in the May 11th block, game number 208 on the season replay. And it's Jimmy Key and the Toronto Blue Jays against Charlie Leibrandt and the Kansas City Royals. I had misspoke last night when I said that Floyd Bannister was leading the league in ERA. It's actually Jimmy Key who's leading the league in ERA. Jimmy Key took offense to that, so he corrected me. He is 6-0 with an ERA of 1.32 on the replay. So that's far and away the best record and ERA on the replay. 55 innings pitched, only 36 hits, 18 walks, 44 strikeouts for Jimmy Key. And on top of that, he's a -6 hold, which means DeWillis, a -3 hold, is a -9, but of course -5 is the best you can have. So it's going to probably put a stop on most of the Kansas City base running. Leibrandt's not a chump either. He's a -2, and Owen's a -1 for a -3. So both running games might be stalled just a tad. Toronto 17-11, Kansas City 14-13. All right, so we are ready to go. Angel Salazar will be the leadoff hitter for Kansas City. Willie Wilson is back on the roster for Kansas City. He's just not playing today. Same with Danny Tartable. They're on the roster, just not playing or not starting. So Angel Salazar comes to the game hitting .320, 2 homers, 9 driven in. He only had .205 real world. So in 75 at bats, he's hitting .320. In 317 at bats, he leveled off to .205 real world. We'll see if that happens here. And we're underway. 4-7 against the right-handers. Ground ball shortstop X, that is Fernandez. He's a 1 E17. You know with the 1 he's going to get to it. We are just looking at the E17 for a shortstop. And shortstop E17, 15, 16, and 17. Just has to avoid those numbers. And he does. So it's good play for Tony Fernandez as he takes care of Salazar. And we're underway from Toronto. That'll bring up the second place hitter, first baseman Kevin Seitzer. George Brett is still on the disabled list. So Seitzer's filling in at first base. He's hitting .252, 4 homers, 15 driven in, hit .323 real world. That is a 6-7, and that's a 1-4 single on the LC lines to short. That is a 5. That's the kind of rolls Jimmy Key's been getting in this replay. Getting just enough to get the job done. And there's 2 away. For left fielder Juan Beniquez. Beniquez on the replay is hitting .261, 2 homers, 14 driven in. He hit .251 real world. That's a 2-9, and that is a double to center field for Juan Beniquez. Double to center field. He almost got the diamond shots. Home runs are 1-11, lefties and righties, singles 1-9 here at Exhibition Stadium. So Beniquez is at second base on the 2-out double. And oddly enough, Beniquez will be traded to Toronto later in the season. But he starts the season in KC. Here's Frank White, second baseman. Frank White hitting .234, 3 homers, 9 driven in. Hit .245 real world. First havoc roll. That's a 2. Chance for a balk or a pass ball. We're checking the pass ball rating on DeWillis, which is a 3. And there's no pass ball, so we drive on. Key to White. 4-11, and that's a fly ball right field X. We're looking at Barfield. He's a 1. You know he's going to get to it. That would be the 3rd out, so we don't need to roll the D20. He is an E3. Very limited errors on the E3. That's a 7, so I'm almost positive that's going to be okay. Yep, 3, 15, and 18 are the only errors, so Barfield puts it away, and the 2-out double does not cause any problems for Jimmy Key. Takes care of the Royals here in the first. We go to the bottom of the first. Kansas City nothing, and Toronto coming to bat. And another left-hander, Charlie Leibrandt, takes the mound. Leibrandt on the replay is 1-2. ERA of 3.21, which is very good. His real life ERA was 3.41, so he's pretty much right in line. 42 innings pitched, 31 hits, 11 walks, and 30 strikeouts. And Tony Fernandez, the shortstop, will lead off for Toronto. He's hitting 367 on the replay. No homers, 6 driven in, hit 322 real world, but right up there near the league lead in hitting at 367. That's a 4-4. Switch hitter batting right-handed. It's ballpark single. 1-9, but that's a 12. So he's going to end up flying to left field, where it is put away by Benitez. 1 down. That'll bring up Kelly Gruber, third baseman for the Blue Jays, hitting 340 on the replay. 3 homers, 9 driven in. He only hit 235 real world. He's only had 50 at bats, so sample size still not that great. 6'4", and that's a ground ball third base X. And we're looking at Pacoda. He's a 4E37. That 4 is a little shaky. And that's a 1. You know it's going to be a base hit. So E37. And that might be trouble too. 16. E37 and a 16 is a 2-base error on Pacoda. E37 and a 16 is a 2-base error. So it's a single plus a 2-base error. So Gruber will go all the way to third as Pacoda has the 2-base error to go along with it. And that's going to put a runner at third base with less than 2 outs. So Leibrandt let down by his defense early on. Infield's going to come in. They know they're facing Jimmy Key and runs are going to be tight, so the infield is in. Here's Lloyd Mosby hitting 301 on the replay. 7 homers, 27 driven in. He hit 282 real world. But the infield is in with Gruber at third and 1 out. 5-8, and that's a pop-up to short. That's exactly what Leibrandt needed. Get the out with no runner advancement. And now with 2 outs, the infield can go back to normal. But they still have to deal with George Bell. George Bell, the cleanup hitter, hitting 259 on the replay. 9 homers, 26 driven in. He actually hit 308 real world, so he's a little bit underperforming right now. But that can change. 4-10, and that's a fly ball to center field. It would have been a sac fly had there been less than 2 outs, but there were 2 outs, and that ends the inning. And Leibrandt pitches around the big error, picks up his teammate Pacoda. And at the end of 1, we got no score from Exhibition Stadium in Toronto. Brunch, Strat-O-Matic brunch game, starting around 10:45 or so Eastern, as we lead up to noon, and Uncle Ron with Retro Sports Network on Action PC Baseball in his 1956 replay. All right, here's Bo Jackson. See if Bo knows anything. He's hitting 253, a homer and 9 driven in, 235 real world. So his average is up. His power number is a little low, but his average is up. 6-4, and that's an in-home run chance, 1-8. That's a 5. Bo knows a home run. He's got normal power. He's going to take Jimmy Key deep, 6-4, and home run chance, 1-8. That's a 5. And Bo Jackson, only his 2nd home run of the season. Said his power numbers were not up to snuff, and they are now. That's just, well, they still got a long way to go. He hit 22 in real world. That's only his 2nd, and his 10th run batted in. But the Royals take a 1-0 lead on Jimmy Key. Here's Thad Bosley. He's hitting 258 on the replay. 2 homers, 6 driven in. Hit 279 real world. 1-6, and that's a walk. And that seems to be the popular result after a home run is a walk. So Bosley will walk. He will not be held. And here comes the designated hitter, Steve Bye-Bye Balboni, up there in the strikeout lead with Incaviglia. He's hitting 157 on the replay, 5 homers, 8 driven in. He hit 207 real world. So we'll see what Balboni can do. 3-5, and that is a split chance. 1's a single as he lines to short, so he will line it to Fernandez for out number 1. But at least he didn't strike out, which was almost a positive. All right, here's Pacoda. He had that big 2-base error. Well, it ended up not being big because the run didn't score, but it was still not a good look for him. So Pacoda on the replay hitting 231 and just 13 at bats. No homers or run driven in at 276 real world. Well, that white die didn't go through there. It got popped out like popcorn. So we're going to redo that. The other dice popped it out for some reason. 2-7, and that's a single 2 stars for Bill Pacoda. That's going to put runners on the corners with only one out, and Jimmy Key getting a little abused here in this game. Runners on the corners. Pacoda will have to be held. He's got that 4 there with an asterisk, which means if they don't hold him, he gets the 20 automatically. So you have to hold him. Not going to get the jump. But he's at the runners are at the corners for Larry Owen. The infield looking for the double play. Owen is a decent double play candidate. Owen on the replay, hitting $130 in just 23 at bats. No homers or run driven in. He hit $189 real world. 6-8, and that's a strikeout and a big one for Jimmy Key. His first strikeout of the game. Couldn't have come at a better time for Jimmy Key. That's for sure. Hello, D. Scott. Good to see you. So Jimmy Key gets the big strikeout for out number 2, and now he's got to get through Angel Salazar to keep this a 1-run game. Bo Jackson's second home run of the season started the inning. Then a walk and a single have put runners at first and third with 2 outs. And Salazar, who grounded to short his first time up, steps to the plate, 3-11. And that's a ballpark single check, but it's a 1-9. That's a 12. So he will line it to short to end the inning. So the Royals get 1, but they don't get any more than that. And they lead Toronto 1-0. But that's news when Jimmy Key is losing the game. So now Leibrandt has a 1-run lead to protect, and he's going to be facing the home run leader in the replay, and that's Jesse Barfield. He's hitting .310, 12 homers, 32 runs batted in, 12 home runs, leads the replay. He hit .263 real world. 3-3, and that's going to be a leadoff walk. So Barfield draws the free pass, and Barfield not going to be held. And that'll bring up first baseman Willie Upshaw, one of the few Blue Jays who's struggling. He's hitting $187. No homers, 7 driven in. Hit .244 real world. Nothing on the havoc. Leibrandt to Upshaw, lefty on lefty. 6-7, and that's a strikeout for Leibrandt, his first strikeout of the game. 1 down, and that's going to bring up Cecil Fielder. He's been a monster in the few at bats he's had. He's been a monster. In 37 at bats, he's got 8 home runs with 16 runs driven in, hitting .378. He hit .269 real world, but 8 home runs in 37 bats is really something. Let's see if he can do anything here to help his team get back in this game. 3-4. Nope, ground ball shortstop A. It's a plus there, but the infield wasn't in. So 6-4-3 double play ends the inning. Pitcher's best friend for Charlie Leibrandt. At the end of 2, it is Kansas City 1 and Toronto nothing. Start the top of the 3rd. Kevin Seitzer will lead off against Jimmy Key. Seitzer lined out to short his first trip. 5-7, and that is going to be a ground ball second base X. That could be a little trouble. Orange is a 4-13. That 4 is a little problematic. But that's a 16, so he gets to that. Now E13, E13, and a 13. 13 and 13. I don't like that combination. But it's a 14 that's an error, not a 13. So 13 is good. And Orange will retire Seitzer for out number 1. Not a smooth play by any means, but he got the job done. Here's Beniquez. He doubled his first trip. 1-6, and this time he's going to fly it to center field, where Mosby will put it away. 2 down. And that'll send up Frank White. 2 out, bases clear. 1-2, and that's a hit by pitch. So Jimmy Key plunks Frank White. 2 out, hit by pitch. White shrugs it off, and here comes Bo. He hit the home run his first time up. Jimmy Key better throw him something a little bit different this time, maybe something off speed. 6-4, and it's the same roll we had last time. 1-8's a home run, but this time it's a 12, so it's a deep fly to left. So it got him just enough off speed where he got out in front of it couldn't get all of it, and Bo flies to left to end the inning. So a fortuitous D20 roll that time for Mr. Key to avoid a 2-run homer. And at the end of 2.5, it's still 1-0 KC. Don't know where the Sunshine Band is, but the KC is right here. Here comes Garth Orge. Orge on the replay is really struggling, $148, just 27 at bats. No homers, 5 driven in. Hit 210 real world. 2-9, and as they pop out to first, and Seitzer will take care of it. 1 away for the number 9 hitter, backup catcher Jeff DeWillis. He's in there because of the lefty on the mound. He hit 120 real world and 25 at bats. On the replays, hitting 067 and 15 at bats. 5-9, and that's a ground ball back to Leibrandt. Easy play, 2 down. And we flip it back to Tony Fernandez. He flew to left his first chance. 1-8 is a single. So 2-out single for Tony Fernandez, and he'll be looking to run. However, that -3 might curtail that. That would make that a 1-13. They're still going to try it. 6 or a 7, he gets the lead. That's a 9. He does not get the lead. So it's a moot point. Here's Kelly Gruber. 4-6 as a walk. So second walk of the game issued by Leibrandt. And now that puts runners at first and second with 2 outs. Clutch situation now for Lloyd Mosby. In the clutch against lefties, he loses a hit on 3-9. Everywhere else he is neutral. He has to avoid the 3-9 for sure. 3-8. How about that? He just avoided it. 3-8 is going to be a single to center field. 3-8 is a 1-9 single. That is a 5. It's a single, only 1 star though, so the bases are going to be loaded. On that 3-8, 3-9 would have been a single taken away on the anti-clutch. 3-8 is a 1-9 single, and that's a 5. So the bases are loaded with 2 outs. And the very dangerous George Bell at the plate. In the clutch for Bell, he is completely neutral. He has no effect. Bell's first time up flew to center. 6-9, and he's going to pop it up to Seitzer at first base, and that's going to end the inning. The Blue Jays will leave them loaded. They might come back to regret that later in the game as a definite missed opportunity. At the end of 3, it is 1-0 KC. Brunch time Strat kind of picks a time after breakfast and before Ron goes on for his lunch game. And we'll just kind of do one on off hours, as they call it. Here's Bosley. He walked the first time up. 6-5, and that's trouble for Key. 1-4 is a triple. 5-20 is a single, but that's a 2. So that will be a triple for Thad Bosley. He did hit 1 triple real world, so I'll give it to him. My rule is if they don't hit any triples and a triple comes up off the pitcher card, I change it to a double, just like the Strat computer does. But here I will give him the triple because he had 1 in real world. All right, so Balboni is up, and the infield is going to come in early with nobody out rather than a runner on third. You got to protect the runs. He could use a strikeout. 6-7, he won't get it. 1-4 is a single, but that's a 6, so he lines it to short. Fernandez will grab it, and holding right there at third base is Bosley. 1 away for Pacoda. Infield still in naturally. Pacoda singled his first time up. That's a 3-7, and that's a 1-2 single, but that's a 19, so it's another line drive to Tony Fernandez, and he snatches that one as well. 2 down, and now Key just needs to get Larry Owen out. He struck him out last time. Clutch situation for Owen in the clutch. He loses a single in 3-10. Everywhere else he's neutral. That's a 6-4, and that's that home run spot that Key has been terrible at. 1-8 is a home run chance, but that's a 20, so it's a fly to left. Owen did have normal power, would have been a home run, but the D20 was favorable once again for Key. And after the leadoff triple, Kansas City cannot bring him home. So we go to the bottom of the 4th, still 1-0. Hey, Joel. Oh, yeah, West Coast. I guess it is breakfast time for you. I'm just trying to get in here and do something to bridge the gap to Uncle Ron's game at noon Eastern on Action PC. Here's Jesse Barfield. And if I do anything tonight, it'll be around 8 o'clock. It would be Inside Pitch, 1977 replay, where the Astros visit the Giants. All right, so Leibrandt to Barfield, 312, and that's a ballpark single check, 1-9, but that's a 19, so he will fly it out to center field, where Bo Nose makes the catch. One down for Upshaw, first baseman. He struck out his first chance. 3-7, and that's a strikeout again. So he's 0 for 2 with 2 Ks. Leibrandt has 2 strikeouts. He's gotten Upshaw twice. And if anybody's curious, I have no clue where this crown mess came from on the comments. It just started up. I know when Uncle Ron did his a couple times, I've seen it. This is the first. Last night was the first time I saw it on this channel. I don't know. I did not hit anything to activate it, so I don't know if, I guess it's something YouTube does. I have no clue. Seems kind of silly to me, but hey, whatever. Here's Cecil Fielder. 4-3 is a ground ball pitcher X, and Leibrandt is a 1 E24. So we know he's going to get to it with a 1. The E24 is the question. 11 is the answer. E24 and an 11. And there's an 11 right there under the E24. So Leibrandt will boot it. And that will send Fielder to first base. Second error on KC in this game. Fielder obviously not going to be held. Here's Garth Orge. 4-9. That's ground ball to second. Frank White handles it, and that's going to end it. So the 2-out error doesn't manifest into anything. And we go to the 5th. It's still 1-0 KC. Leibrandt so far out-dueling Jimmy Key. Top of the order for the Royals, Angel Salazar, followed by Seitzer and Beniquez. Salazar is 0 for 2. 5-3, ground ball first base C. That's one where Upshaw fields it, flips to Key covering the bag. And there's one away. Seitzer 0 for 2 as well. 1-6, not anymore. 1-11 is a triple. 12-20 is a single. That's a 6. That'll be a triple. Second triple of the game for Kansas City as Seitzer gets the triple. He had 8 triples real world, so that's not unusual. Plus, it's on his cards, not off the pitcher. But now the infield is going to have to come in again for Beniquez with the runner at third and 1 out. The infield will be in. 4-9. That's a pop up to third base. Big at bat there for Key to get that out without the runner advancing. And now it's 2 away, and it's up to Frank White. Infield back to normal. In the clutch against the lefties, White loses a hit on a 3-12. And everywhere else, he is neutral. Key to White to try to keep it a 1-0 game. 3-5, and that's a ground ball to short, and he does it. So he pitches around the triple for the second inning in a row. So we go to the bottom of the 5th. Still 1-0 Kansas City. The home run from Bo Jackson, the lone run of the ball game. Leibrandt will be facing DeWillis and then Fernandez and Gruber. 3-8 is a ground ball to short, and that's one away. Back to the top of the order for Fernandez. He's 1 for 2. 1-6, make it 1 for 3. That's going to be a base hit for Tony Fernandez. He's going to try to get the lead again. Failed to get it last time. 6 for 7. Does not get the lead, so he'll have to hold. And here comes Kelly Gruber. Gruber has singled and walked. 1-7. He's going to strike out this time. Third strikeout for Leibrandt. It's the first time Leibrandt struck out somebody other than Upshaw. So 2 down for Lloyd Mosby. 1 for 2. Lefty on lefty matchup. 2-10 is a ground ball to short, and that's going to end the inning. So a pitching duel is broken out here in Toronto. At the end of 5, it's 1-0 in favor of the KC Royals. Both pitchers have fatigue numbers of 7, so they're definitely good to go for the long haul. Key will be facing Jackson, Bosley, and Balboni. Of course, Jackson hit the home run. He found that 6-4 roll to his liking, hit the home run last time. Found it again on his second at bat, but got the high D20 for a fly to left. So Jimmy Key's going to try to stay off that 6-4 roll if possible. 3-6, he did, but that's a ballpark blast for Bo Jackson. It's 1-11, but that's a 20. So a good break there for Jimmy Key once again, as Bo Jackson went deep, but not deep enough. Ballpark was able to hold it, and there's one away. Here's Bosley. He is 1 for 1 with a triple. It's a 3-7, and that's a 1-2 single. Anything else, he lines to second base, and he will line it right to Garth Orge for out number 2. 2 down for Balboni. Balboni has lined to short twice. 2-11, and he's going to ground it to third this time, where Gruber takes care of it. 1, 2, 3 go the Royals. We go to the bottom of the 6th, still 1-0 ball game. Somebody's got to blink here eventually, you would think. George Bell steps up, lead off the 6th. He's 0 for 2. 3-8, and he's going to be 0 for 3. Ground ball to Salazar at short. 1 down. If you like pitching duels, you came to the right place. If you're looking for runs, you probably came to the wrong place. Here's Jesse Barfield. 4-6, and that's going to be a walk by Leibrandt. Barfield will not be held. That's the 3rd walk by Leibrandt. He's walked Barfield twice, but 3 walks overall. And here is Upshaw. Upshaw is 0 for 2. He struck out twice. 3-6, not this time. 1-6 is a single. Anything else, he lines to second. That is a 6. That dots to the right-hand side means it is a 6, so it's a single 1 star. And that's going to put runners at first and second with 1 out. And we move on to Cecil Fielder. Hit to a double play and reached on an error. But he's still hitting 359 on the replay. 2-8, and that's more trouble. If it's a 1-15, it's a double, and it certainly is. That is a double on a 2-8. Double by Fielder. It's going to at least tie the game. So we know Barfield will score. Don't know about Upshaw yet. The double is assumed to go to center. So center fielder arm. Jackson's a -2. Upshaw 14. Trail runner not being held is a 15, but the -2 makes it a 13. And with only 1 out, they're going to stop him at third base. They don't want to risk Bo Jackson's arm. So second and third, 1 out. It will bring the infield in for Kansas City. We have a tie game at 1, and here comes Garth Orge. He's 0 for 2, but this time Kansas City's infield is in. 4-11 as a ground ball first base X. First baseman is Seitzer. He's a 3E16. 3-6, that could be trouble because with the infield in, this might be one of those pound sign deals. 3-6 is a pound sign deal, so instead of being a ground ball to first, it's going to be a single 2 stars thanks to the pound, and that will score both runs. By playing the infield in, that cost them, but you kind of had to play the infield in there. If you give up a lousy ground ball that gives up the lead, you're going to say, why did you play the infield in? So, all right, so that's going to get there, but we're still checking an error as well. Seitzer in E16 could make matters worse. Got to avoid 3, 11, 12, 16, and 17. And he does. That's a 13, so he just barely escapes that. But the single 2 stars will give Toronto a 3-1 lead. Big hit. Big hit by Garth Orge. Garth Clockwork Orge gives Toronto a lead. And now here's to Willis. .27, and that's a strikeout for out number 2. But now it's dangerous. You're giving Jimmy Key a 3-1 lead to work with. It's not a position Kansas City wanted to be in. Here's Fernandez. He's 2 for 3. 2-7. He's going to ground to short to end the inning, but a 3-run inning for Toronto. Capped off by the 2-run single from Garth Orge, and the Blue Jays lead it 3-1 as we head to the 7th inning. Jimmy Key been given the lead. See what kind of a front runner he is. It's going to be Bakota, Owen, and Salazar scheduled hitters, but we are in the 7th, so pinch hitting is allowed. So we very well will get a pinch hitter for Larry Owen. And in fact, I know we will, as Hal McRae has picked up a bat and will hit. So Hal McRae will be the pinch hitter for Owen. And then the new catcher will be Jamie Minnick-Work. So after Bakota hits, we'll have a pinch hitter for Owen, which is McRae. And then the catcher will be Quirk. All right, so that's the way it's going to be played, but Bakota will bat first, and Larry Owen is now out of the game. So Bill Bakota will lead things off here against Jimmy Key for 8, and as a line out right to Garth Orge. 1 away. And now we'll bring in Hal McRae on the computer. The pinch hit for Larry Owen. McRae on the replay. I believe this was his final season before he retired. He only had 32 at-bats real world. He's got 25 at-bats. 25 at-bats in the replay. He hit 313 in real world. He's hitting 240 on the replay with no homers and a run driven in. McRae pinch hitting. Oops, I put the wrong thing there, didn't I? I gave him the L4 in the wrong spot. Let me clear this spot here, the L4, and I'm right on the crack of the table, so that's making it hard to. The 8th spot in the visiting batting order is right on the crack of the table, so that makes it a little more difficult. See if I can be a little more careful about that. All right, so now Hal McRae is up. 4-7 is a ground ball shortstop X. That is Fernandez. You know he's going to get to it. He's an E1. Checking the 17. That is a 9. I think he's okay with that. A 17. Yep, 15, 16, 17 are the only errors. So Fernandez retires McRae. And now Quirk will be the new catcher going forward. And that will bring up the top of the order an Angel Salazar. He's 0 for 3. 4-4, and that is a fly center field X. That is Mosby. He's a 1. You know he's going to get to it. We're just checking the E7. E7 and a 12 for center fielder. E7, there is no 12, so it's good play for Mosby. And Jimmy Key pitches a 1-2-3 7th inning, so he will keep full endurance into the next inning. But right now on the Strat computer, we got to bring in Jamie Quirk to catch in place of McRae, who pinch hit for Owen. So Leibrandt will have a new battery mate in the bottom of the 7th. It will also be Leibrandt's fatigue inning because he has a 7 here. He'll be facing Gruber, Mosby, and Bell, scheduled hitters in the bottom of the 7th. But right now, we are at the 7th inning stretch, and as is become a custom, we will go to Take Me Out to the Ball Game while I freshen up my coffee. We'll warm it up in the microwave. We've got kind of lukewarm sitting over here, so enjoy Take Me Out to the Ball Game while I refresh my coffee. right, we are back. Bottom of the 7th we go. And Toronto trying to extend the lead. Leibrandt trying to hang in there. See what he can do. Hello, Triple G. Good to see you. Notice we're not getting very many people in the. Maybe this is not a good time to be streaming because we're not getting anybody watching. So, note to self: don't stream at this time of day anymore. Guess that's a lesson learned. Well, do it at different times and see what happens. But it's very low number of people, which is fine. I mean, I don't really care. People can watch whenever they want to watch. If they watch at all. I'm doing this for me, for fun. So you guys can watch and play along. If you like, here's Gruber. 2-7, and that is a strikeout. So Leibrandt gets his 5th strikeout, but he's still down 3-1. I'm just trying to avoid circles in the sand every game because of the stupid internet. So. Okay, I believe we are back now. I don't believe it's my internet because my internet is looking pretty good. I believe it's the YouTube app that I'm streaming through. I may have to switch off and do XSplit or OBS or something like that because I know it's the YouTube problem, not my internet problem, because my laptop, my internet is showing fine. So it's not the internet, it's YouTube. It's the app I'm using, where I go to the main YouTube screen on my channel and click on the create button and try to stream through that. And that's where I'm getting the problems. So we'll move on from that. I don't know what everybody saw. We had the 7th inning stretch, and then Kelly Gruber struck out against Charlie Leibrandt to start the bottom of the 7th. So now we're going to continue. Here's Lloyd Mosby, and that's a 1-6, and that's a strikeout. So strikeout number 6 for Leibrandt. Of course, by shutting down, I had to lose the input that I did on the Strat computer game, so I'm going to do that later on after the game is over. So I have to do all these stats manually now. There's George Bell, 6-3. It's a ballpark single check, 1-9, but that's a 17. So he will line it to short, and that will end the 7th inning. So we go to the top of the 8th, and it is still 3-1 Toronto. Jimmy Key has full endurance. He gave up nothing in the 7th inning. And he'll be facing Seitzer, Benitez, and White. And that's a 4-11, and that is a fly ball right field X. Right fielder is Barfield. He's a 1. You know he's going to get to it, so we're checking the E3. And on E3, the only way you make an error is 3, 15, and 18. And there's no error there, so Barfield will make the catch. 1 away for Juan Benitez. 112 against the lefty. That is a fly to left and put away out there by Mr. Bell. 2 down for Frank White. 5-11, and that's going to be a ballpark single check again, 1-9, and that's a 6. So Frank White will get on. Now the tying run is on base for Bo Jackson, who homered in the 2nd. If he homers, and he's come close twice. If he homers again, we have a tie ball game. Nothing on the havoc. Key's got to be careful to Bo. 2-6, and he struck him out. Talk about getting revenge there and not putting any doubt in anybody's mind. That's only the 2nd strikeout for Jimmy Key. He's just not a strikeout pitcher. He just gets you out. He's pitched 8 innings of allowing 1 run, so his ERA is not going to take any hit at all. That's for sure. In fact, he's going to be going for the complete game in the top of the 9th. They'll have Hinkie ready just in case, but they're going to give Jimmy Key every opportunity to complete this game. Now, as far as Leibrandt, he has full endurance. He went 0 for 3, or the batters went 0 for 3 in his endurance innings, so he's going to see if he can finish what he started. 2-9, and that is a strikeout. Strikeout number 7. This could be a double complete game. When's the last time you saw that, baseball fans? Here's Willie Upshaw. 6-11. That's a ground ball first base X. That's Seitzer. He's a 3 E16. 3 and a 3. That's going to get through for a base hit. E16 and an 11. We'll see if that causes any issues. E16 and an 11. The 3 and the 3 is a single. E16, there's an 11 right there. It's a second error. This one's a one base error. He made a two base error. Two base error did Seitzer in the first. He's making a one base error here. So it's a single plus a one base error. Second error of the game on, I'm sorry, it was Pacoda that made the error the first time. This is Seitzer. So Seitzer will make the error. Upshaw's at second. First base is open. They don't want any part of Cecil Fielder, so they will walk him intentionally. They'll go after Garth Orge, even though Orge had the two-run single his last time up. They just like the odds better against Orge versus Cecil Fielder, and I don't blame them. 3-11, and that is a 1-4 home run. Anything else is a fly to left. That's an 8. It's a fly to left. So Leibrandt gets away with one right there. 2 down for DeWillis. Normally I'd pinch hit for him, but he's the catcher for Key, and you don't want to mess with the chemistry of the battery. Plus they're ahead 3-1. If they were behind, of course we'd pinch hit, but not when you're ahead. That's a 2. Chance of a balk or a pass ball. We're checking the balk rating of Jimmy Key. I'm sorry, of Charlie Leibrandt, rather. It's 5. Charlie Leibrandt's balk rating is a 5. No balk. All right, that brings up DeWillis. 2-7 and struck him out to end the inning. So Leibrandt's going to go 8 innings and what could be a complete game for him. And we go to the 9th, last chance for the for the Royals rather. And they'll try to do it against Jimmy Key. Key going for that complete game. They're going to probably pinch hit for Thad Bosley. They do have Danny Tartable sitting there on the bench. They also have Willie Wilson on the bench. So they're going to pinch hit with Willie Wilson, actually. They may use Tartable later in the inning if they get somebody on base because he's the power threat. So Willie Wilson will come in and pinch hit for Bosley. Against Jimmy Key. Tom Hinkie is in the bullpen loosening just in case. Key to Wilson, 4-12. Switch hitter batting right-handed is a ground ball back to Key. And there's one away. Here is Balboni. He's 0 for 3. 6-11, and that's a ground ball first base X. I'm not sure if it went off the page or not. First base X on a 6-11. And that is Mr. Upshaw. Upshaw is a 2E11. 2 and a 17, he'll get to it. E11. E11 for a first baseman and a 10. E11, there's no 10, so Upshaw will get it. Flip the Key covering, and there's 2 away. Bill Pacoda, last chance for the Royals. Jamie Quirk on deck. 1-7. Home run 1 to an 11. That's a 12. And Jimmy Key escapes again. 1 to 11 is a home run, but the D20 is a 12. Just a deep fly to left. Yet another escape from Jimmy Key. And he pitches a complete game victory for his Toronto Blue Jays. He will improve to 7-0. Leibrandt, a tough luck loss. He goes to 1-3. But double complete game. You don't see that very often. A double complete game. Let's get the totals. We know that Kansas City made 3 errors. One by Pacoda, one by Leibrandt, and one by Seitzer. So they made 3 errors. Toronto made no errors. For hits, Kansas City 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hits for Kansas City. Toronto 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hits. So there's your final line score. Toronto 3 runs, 8 hits, no errors. Kansas City 1 run, 6 hits, and 3 errors. Winning pitcher Jimmy Key 7-0 now. Obviously the top pitcher in the replay. Charlie Leibrandt, a very tough luck loss, drops to 1-3. Leibrandt went 8 innings, gives up 6 hits and 3 runs. All the runs were earned. Let's check walks and strikeouts for Leibrandt. He walked one intentionally here, so that gives him 4 walks. 1 was intentional, and he struck out 7. For Key, he gave up 8 hits, not 6 hits, my bad. 8 hits. Make this a little bit neater if possible. Got ahead of myself. Why is this thing not working? Now my little tape doesn't want to work. It's getting jammed up here. Okay, now we got something going again. 8 runs, 8 hits. Or 8 innings pitched, 8 hits, 3 runs all earned, 4 walks, 7 strikeouts. Jimmy Key, 9 innings pitched, 6 hits and a run. The only run was the Bo Jackson homer. He walks just the 1. Bosley was the only walk, and he did hit a batter. And he only struck out 3. So there you go. Final score in game number 208. Toronto wins it 3-1 over Kansas City. Toronto improves to 18-11. Kansas City drops to an even 14-14. Jimmy Key 7-0. Leibrandt 1-3. 3 runs, 8 hits, no errors for Toronto. 1 run, 6 hits, 3 errors for Kansas City. Game number 208 is in the books from north of the border. Next game tomorrow will be in Boston. It'll be the Seattle Mariners taking on the Boston Red Sox. It'll be Roger Clemens against Scott Bankhead. That'll be game number 209. So thank you all for the few that were here live for viewing this. And like I said, it's probably not a good time to stream at this part of the day. So obviously lesson learned there. I'll pick different times to do that. Either in the morning or in the evening, not anywhere in between, or right at lunch, not in between, so to speak. But that's okay. That's why they have replays, and you can watch it at your convenience later on. So that's going to do it from Toronto. Next time we'll be in Boston for the Red Sox and the Mariners. But the next video will be tonight. It will be inside pitch. We'll be at Candlestick Park. It will be the Houston Astros taking on, if I can get the glare off of there, Houston Astros taking on the San Francisco Giants, 1977 inside pitch. That will be tonight. So until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road.